Another month has come and gone, and it is time yet again for Choose Our Own Adventure, the Patreon show. For all you that are at the $7 or up tier, thank you for your donation if you are listening to this show. Nobody died as far as I know.
Celebrity-wise?
Celebrity-wise.
Oh, man.
Let's not think too hard about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure.
There's probably been,
some
definitely
music composer from the 60s.
It's been rough this year.
Yeah. Let's get this bad boy on and rolling here. October. What? You know what? Before we get into anything else, Brian, it's been a whole 7 days since we've seen you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. You and I and the young Leslie over here went and saw Tenet, man. What'd you think about it?
I enjoyed it, but the longer it sits, like in the moment, I'm like, yeah, I really dig this, and I'm a big time travel guy, so it really scratched that itch, and I think the time travel conceit was very, very interesting in Tenet. This is the first Christopher Nolan movie I went to where I feel like he had an idea for a sequence before he had the idea for the movie. And I see Inception, I think he had the broad stroke idea for Inception before he came up with the hallway fight.
Yeah.
With this one, I'm like, I think that freeway scene was the first thing he thought of. And then the rest of the movie grew out of it. I'm not sure. I don't know how well this all fits together yet. That's the thing.
It's, like I said in my review that you can go listen to right now. The first 90 seconds is backwards, by the way. I flipped the audio. I feel like this was specifically designed to purposely make you go watch it again. This is designed for multiple rewatches. He just dropped it in the worst possible
That's actually brilliant, actually, when you think about it, considering when he dropped it. Then, well, because it made 50 cents. It's like, oh, we're gonna have to watch it again. Yeah.
No, maybe not right now, Chris.
That was my second time watching it, and things make so much more sense the second time around.
See, and I think I spent most of the movie looking for certain things without spoiling too much. Something happens during a scene in an airport early in the movie where I'm like, okay, well, that's coming back around, and I think I know what happened there, but the movie deliberately didn't show me. So I'm waiting for that to come back around. And eventually it does. So I kind of got how the movie's going to be structured to a point where it's we're going forwards and backwards and things like that. But there are certain things in the movie that I'm like the expository scene in the lab at the beginning, I don't think that was necessary.
Oh, I think it was very necessary. Without getting too much into it.
Yeah.
This isn't the Tenet review show.
Yeah.
Leslie, what did you think about it?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah?
So I went into it pretty fresh. I think I had seen the first trailer or teaser, and that was about it. I heard you. I'm ignoring you. Go ahead and laugh at your own joke.
I amuse myself so much. Keep on with it.
So I knew there was going to be some sort of time travel aspect just from other people talking about it. But I didn't know that it was going to be the very specific, limited to just the person who does the thing who's going backwards. And so I thought that was not a gimmick, but a really neat aspect of it. And yeah, I definitely do want to see it again, and I do enjoy how it played out, at least on first watch.
Well, you can see it again December 15th when it hits home video.
Yes, I'm not going back out to see it unless. Yeah, no, I'm not going back out.
At this point, I might as well wait.
It's not. You missed the window. Yeah. There was a maybe 3-day window to go see it.
Yeah,
and now it's cases are spiking. Don't.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not worth it. No. I'm not, and I don't feel as bad because when I realized wait a minute. I've only seen the Dark Knight trilogy in the theaters, of all of Nolan's stuff.
Really?
That's literally it. Inception? I never went to the theater to see Inception for some reason.
I didn't see Inception in theater either, and it makes me sad.
I think the only ones I didn't see in theater were Following and Memento. Those were the only two Nolan movies I didn't see in theater.
I didn't see.
I didn't see Batman Begins because I was out of the country. Following and Memento. That's it. That's all I haven't seen.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of wish his next movie would be like a low budget $30 million
That's
movie.
what a lot of people said.
I like take away. Let's not make this big bombastic blockbuster. Like pare it down and make something
Insomnia 2.
small scale.
What were you gonna say, Leslie?
I don't think I've seen anything besides The Dark Knight in Tenet now in theater.
Wow.
Well, you have to understand, there was a long period of time where I was very poor.
That'll do it.
And-
That'll do it.
And going to the theater was it just wasn't something that I was doing, that I was saving money for. I was watching
That's for the
movies
rich
with
people.
friends.
Yeah.
I had Netflix back when you had to order the DVDs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember those flimsy like sleeves they'd come in.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. We have 6 topics that were submitted after teeth pulling happened. You pay for this, people.
We got your money regardless.
We got your money.
Yeah, you paid for this.
You paid for this. 2 of y'all combined paid for this here studio session. Kick it off as we always do with Ryan Elliott, who always gives us the simplest thing to talk about: best cameo. And he said, "I'll help you out as Kevin Bacon in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles."
That helps. That helps.
Thank you for your help.
Next
although I
topic.
Highly disagree.
I don't remember him in Planes, Trains, and
I don't
Automobiles.
either.
No, it's been years.
But I've
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it since I was in either junior high or high school.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a while.
All right, Brian, kick us off, sir. What's the best cameo?
Is it too early to say Rudy Giuliani and Borat 2?
No, sir. I don't think
Oh
it
my
is.
god! I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard. Oh my god!
I've just seen the clips on
Yeah.
Twitter.
Those assholes invited me to a virtual screening, and they were like, I think they sent me an email like 4 or 5 p.m., maybe even a little bit earlier, but I didn't read my email until about 6:50, and they're like, 7 o'clock, come see Borat 2 virtually, and I was like, well.
Did they send it to you on a fax machine? There's a great gag in the movie that involves a fax machine.
Aren't we technically? I mean, even watching it now, aren't we technically watching it virtually? Like,
This was right. This was, I think, like a day or 2 before the movie.
oh,
dropped.
okay, gotcha, gotcha.
But yeah, spoilers aside, that scene with Rudy Giuliani somehow manages to not be as bad as you've heard and be worse than you've heard. it's amazing, like how it says so much more about the state of like right wing political people than it does about Giuliani himself. And I'll leave it at that. But no, my actual answer, I think that there's only one real answer to this for anybody who's like a fan of like pop fiction, and that's got to be Samuel L. Jackson in Iron Man.
Oh, really?
That's got to be the best cameo appearance in modern movies. Like that was the
That's up
thing
there.
that
That's
set it off,
definitely- yeah.
right? Like this was the thing that like you stayed after the credits before everybody was staying after the credits.
Yeah.
And here's a little tease, and I mean, people who knew went nuts over that, and the speculation was rampant from there.
Yeah, if you read the Ultimates back in the day prior to seeing Iron Man, I was like, because that was a brilliant move, even making him look exactly like Sam Jackson. Because eventually, if they do a movie, they got to cast him.
Yeah,
Like,
it's for the fact that Nick Fury in the Ultimate says Sam Jackson.
Of course,
he'll
he'll play me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's hard to like overstate how important that scene was. Like when you think back on it now, it seems really quaint and like, oh, of course they were setting it up. But it's like there was no of course when Iron Man came out. It was like, we're gonna just throw this out there and see if it works. And it did very well, and that's how we got what we got. But like, man, that cameo appearance.
I think initially hearing about Marvel, starting their own studios and doing Iron Man, because they were left with scraps basically. They literally had a box
C-tier.
of scraps, as far as characters
Kevin
to
Feige
use.
built this in a cave. Put a
But-
box of scraps.
At best, I thought, we were going to get maybe an Iron Man series, a Cap series, and so on and so forth. But yeah, once you see Nick Fury in that post credits and like basically linking a universe together, it's like, oh wow, they could actually make this happen. Like,
yeah, and that's for all of Phase 1, you kind of felt that way. It's like if they can make this work, then maybe this is possible. And after I saw the first Thor movie, I was talking with my buddy that I saw it with, and I was like, they made this work, and now I mean, making Thor work is kind of like the sky's the limit because now, I mean, I don't think they made it
liked
work
it.
from the sense of we've got a Thor movie now. Like,
Yes,
like
a
it's
live-action version
Like
of
it is
Thor. It's
definitely on the bottom rung of the MCU, like the lower half.
It was the first
the back
MCU
half.
movie I ever saw.
Oh, well, that's good though. That's
Initially, the only one I was interested in seeing.
it was
'Cause there's a
seriously.
hunky guy in it.
No, because I was familiar with the character of Thor and Norse mythology and
I had a friend who
in
saw it for
other
that reason
pop
and hated
culture
it.
stuff.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
love Natalie Portman.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
But I mean, it worked to an extent, and like they were able to pull off the marriage of science and mysticism
Yeah.
in a way that opened the door for things like and sort of interstellar things that opened the way for Guardians of the Galaxy and Doctor Strange and all of these movies that came later. And Marvel's constantly still pushing movies that are like, can they actually pull this off? Like Eternals is the next
Eternals,
one, right?
yeah, yeah.
And it's like, guys, spoilers, they're gonna fucking pull it off. Like, I mean, I don't know how much we have to do to prove it, but like, but yeah, like that Nick Fury scene just.
I really want to know what that Eternals end credits is going to be about. Leslie, what about you? What is your best cameo?
Well, I decided to stay with the Halloween theme, so I went with Bill Murray in Zombieland because it's fucking Bill Murray.
I was contemplating that too. That was just like, because that, I mean, it's brilliant.
It is.
It is really
He's
good.
fantastic. And spoilers if you haven't seen this years old movie, the way he gets taken out is hilarious.
They literally make a term out of that in the sequel.
Yeah,
like they call it murrayed or whatever. Somebody got murrayed or whatever.
But I mean, honestly, Bill Murray, just about any Bill Murray cameo, like when he pops up.
In real life.
I was
like
gonna
no one
say
will
in
ever
coffee
believe-
and cigarettes.
Yeah, can
That-
you see him and the RZA.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, that I mean, hell, that whole film is just wonderful cameos.
I even loved his cameo in the Ghostbusters reboot.
Yeah,
'cause
I liked that a lot too.
it was kind of brilliant casting him as a ghost skeptic of all people.
I think pretty much any movie Bill Murray makes now constitutes as a cameo because no one's ever sure until they start shooting whether he'll show up.
when I heard he did the Garfield movie because it was directed by
Ron Cohen?
Ron Cohen, yeah. He thought it was the Cohen brothers.
That's right.
He's like, why would they be doing Garfield?
I kind of feel sorry for that director.
He probably gets a lot of actors just based on that alone.
They show up all disappointed. Imagine being a director and an actor just always shows up disappointed. Oh,
He's like, Rescue
You're the
Rangers? I didn't come here for this.
good call. Leslie. Good call.
Nice.
Jermon.
I kind of debated between Bill Murray and my actual choice, so I went with Johnny Depp in 21 Jump Street.
Oh, that's a great one.
Oh my God.
That is great.
It was brilliant. Like, at first you're watching the movie and, going in, I was like, this movie is probably going to be terrible. And it was funnier than it had any business being.
Yep.
But then Johnny Depp and Peter DeLuise popping up made it put it on a whole nother level.
Agree.
Like
Yes.
seeing him pop up, as the DEA agent and basically making turn the movie from a reboot to a continuation of the original series.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I haven't ever seen it.
Oh
Yeah.
man, it is good.
It's wild business.
And he
It's wild shit.
literally telegraphs it in the beginning of the movie, like because when he's disguised as a biker, one of the bikers, and at the beginning scene with Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill, he's like, yeah, he says something sarcastic like, yeah, right, and I'm a DEA agent or whatever. I was like, that was just,
Nice.
it was hilarious, and the way he went down, man. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good
Yeah,
call,
and
sir.
then because you had and then one of the other bikers was like, because he'd been doing it for 5 years apparently, and he was like, you played sax at my sister's wedding or whatever. And he was like, yeah, I fucked her too. It's like,
that movie, you're right,
Yes.
had way better than it had
Yes.
any business being.
Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I had briefly debated Bill Murray, and I briefly debated Johnny Depp too. That damn Nick Fury, good call, sir. The one I went in a very more serious direction. I went with Alec Baldwin and Glengarry Glen Ross.
That's a great cameo, man. Yeah.
He's in there for one scene. It is easily one of the best monologues in film history. That's where we got the phrase "always be closing" from, and it is the fact that it's not Glengarry Glen Ross is based off of a stage play. They filmized it, and that character's not in stage play anywhere. Yeah, they invented that character for Alec Baldwin to come in.
Coffee
and
is
knock
for
it out.
closers.
Coffee is for you don't get coffee. Coffee is for closers.
Third place is you're fired.
Yeah, there's so many good quotes, and then they ended all there with the brass balls.
Yeah.
it's so, and the fact that he has a actual pair of brass balls in his suitcase. He's rude, he's right, and he puts them on the path for success. Let's put it that way. Yeah, Alec Baldwin knocks it all the way out of the park.
I have not seen that movie, but I know that scene.
Right?
Right.
That's one you can hop on YouTube. They got it, the whole thing from beginning to end. I forget there's a couple people who just disrespects sitting in that scene.
Yeah.
It's so good, man. Check out Alec Baldwin and Glenn Ross. All right.
And one thing I do want to also mention, and this is maybe the most complex cameo I think that I've ever seen in anything, but there is an episode of Community where Danny Pudi's character Abed talks about visiting the set of Cougar Town and being an extra in an episode of Cougar Town. And there's an episode of Cougar Town that came after this with Danny Pudi in character as Abed, just in the background of a scene. Like a couple characters are at lunch in the foreground. I think like Busy Phillips is in the foreground, and behind her, over her shoulder, you just see Abed just chewing a sandwich, just looking around like he does. Like, I mean, it's clearly Danny Pudi playing Abed, and it's like that is the most creative cameo I've ever seen.
I'll one up you on that creative cameo. Beetlejuice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Beetlejuice on
Yeah, you gotta say
Beetlejuice on Community.
Because it was a 3-season, like...
It's a 3-season. Yeah, they say his name in one season, they say it another season, and on that third season, you just see him walk by the window.
Nice.
I'm not a fan of Community, but I will give them their respect for that. All right. In a strange twist of events, we will talk about Scott before we talk about Shannon for the first time ever. Yes. Scott Self, who is quarantined from the world right now.
Oh, man.
He said, since the Rona has made an appearance here at Shea Drury Self, we've been doing some crazy isolation / quarantine. Poor Thormac has COVID.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I have become more familiar with the living room couch, masks, and not being permitted to touch anyone over the last 2 weeks than I ever cared to. So what is your favorite isolation / quarantine related movie or TV show? Zombie post-apocalyptic virus avoidance flick. For me, The Andromeda Strain, 1971, not the 08. I think that was a TV show, wasn't it?
I think it was.
I think so.
I think
We
Guillermo del
tried to
Toro did
watch
the first
that,
episode.
didn't we?
We watched the 1971 movie, yeah. And he said, read the Crichton book first.
Yes.
The book is quite good.
The book is fantastic.
Yeah.
That in 70s movie, not so much.
The thing about the 70s movie is if some shit were to go down, the scientific community's response in that movie is exactly what I think. Well, if we had a working government with and they listen to the science, the scientific community's response in that movie is perfect.
Yes.
The thing about it,
Yes.
that scientific method and process is boring as shit to see play out.
Right, it's like-
science should be boring.
It's like C-SPAN should run the Andromeda Strain at like 2 a.m.
Right.
Nobody would know the difference.
I have a friend that's been on C-SPAN before.
Boring.
Yes,
I'm just kidding.
yes, it is.
I'm just kidding.
Juwan, kick us off with this one, sir.
All right. In doing research for this topic, I was like, man, this is a very, very narrow genre of movies.
Isolation.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot to work with, but I did manage to find something that I've actually seen. I'm going to go with the 4th season of The Walking Dead.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Oh, what happens in that? That's
well,
not the
this was
jail
right
season,
after.
is it?
What's that?
It's not the jail season, is it?
It is part of the jail season.
Yeah.
Like this was right after the governor season.
Jail ends about halfway
Yeah.
through the season.
Yeah.
Right, the jail.
But yeah, they're all still living in the prison, and it's bad enough living in a zombie apocalypse, but then some mysterious flu overtakes all of them.
I forgot about all that.
Yeah, they had because they had to quarantine a part of the.
The Rona.
Yeah.
Yes. Because,
And it's terrifying enough. Yeah, it's terrifying enough having to deal with zombies, but to have someone in there with the flu, with a very contagious flu, and somebody literally died in there of the flu. zombied up and ended up killing some people in their cells while they were sleeping.
Yep.
Yep.
Like,
Now I remember
That was
Yeah.
a damn good episode.
Oh my
too.
God.
Is
yeah.
that the part? Is that the season where Carol burned some people?
It may have been. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Carol's
Because
fucking
it's
wild.
Because it was Tyrese's
yes,
girlfriend, wasn't it?
Tyrese.
Yeah.
And no, it was his. Was it his?
Was it his girlfriend? Or?
It was his girlfriend because what's her name was his sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sneakwa. No.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Was
on
it
that
Sasha?
shit?
Was that it?
Yep, Sasha.
Jesus, guys.
It feels like it's been 20 years since I watched this.
It's just, I know that was literally the last season of the show I watched.
Really?
It was
Yeah.
probably the last one worth
mean-
watching, to be honest.
I disagree with that. We talked about Walking Dead last night.
Yeah.
Me and my co-host over here.
The specifically the introduction of Negan and that cliffhanger before you find out who in the group.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he thought it was awesome. I thought it was fucking ridiculous and dumb.
Right on. Well, there
Yeah,
you go.
that was
You
kinda-
have our opinions on that.
I think that was kind of my turning point on Walking Dead.
it seemed like that was.
But I'll tell you what, the back end of that season two, season 4,
Yeah.
I'm saying, also the back end of that season
TOO is what you're
was
going
was isolated all the characters from one another, right?
Yes.
They were all on separate journeys, and
Yeah.
like that was the thing I waited the entire run of the show for, because I wanted every character on that show to have
an arc?
have an arc, and have a chance for us, the audience, to connect with them on a personal level, other than Rick. Because we only ever saw Rick by himself, and everybody else, it was just this group of people moving around, and they're dying left and right. And it's like, I don't care. It's like when what was his name? T-Dog?
Yeah.
When
Yeah, rest in
T-Dog
peace,
died,
T-Dog.
you know, T-Dog died, it's like they killed him off, and it's like the answer's not killing him off. The answer is making us care about him and then killing him off.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the same thing happened with Lori Grimes. It's like the fan community
Yeah.
hated Lori. It's like, and so we killed her off. It's
No,
like,
work harder at your job.
do better, yeah. And so those standalone episodes where we got to see those characters kind of on their own did so much for me, including the one, there was a 2-parter, I think, with the governor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
When he
That
kinda,
was
yeah.
great too. Like,
When
like
you thought he was turning it around, and
That
Yeah.
was still Darabont era. And then a little bit after
okay,
Darabont
yeah.
left, because due to creative differences,
Yeah.
that's when things kind of took a different path. Leslie, what do you have for Isolation?
I went with 28 Days Later. So it's not technically zombies. It's berserkers, rage virus. They actually
Berserker.
die if they don't eat. But yeah, I went with that one. It's long been a favorite. I like the way it uses the shaky cam, which is not something you typically hear me say. But I think it does a great job using it just enough so that you get that feeling of like anxiety and just full on running to save your fucking life.
Something that I'm not capable of these days.
Oh no, yeah, no, I
We'll
would
talk
make
about
it.
that in a little bit.
But I really like Cillian Murphy.
Those cheekbones.
We had a couple of nice cameos pop up in there. Christopher Eccleston as the grimy armed forces leader guy. But yeah, I really liked it, and I liked the twist at the end as well.
Right
Is
on. The
Christopher-
twist at the end, you find out, is actually a sequel called 28 Weeks Later.
is Christopher Eccleston just grimy and everything? Like,
Yes, yes, he is. He's the
I think
grimiest
so.
Doctor Who.
Yes.
He's the
Grimy and G.I. Joe. He's like,
Malekith the Dark Elf.
yeah. Even his character in Heroes was grimy as hell. Like the grimy invisible man. Like,
We need you to play the old affable, friendly neighbor of this main character.
Can't
no,
do it.
can't
Can't
do
do
it.
it.
No, not my contract.
it's like
Get Brian
Halloween.
Dennehy, he's dead. Oh, I still can't do it.
It's like Halloween where instead of slutty, everything is sleazy. Something like
Mine, man, I couldn't settle, man. I Bruce Willis in Pulp Fiction when he just keeps leveling up on weapons. That was me with this, because first I was like, Lost in Translation. Oh, that's a good one. And I was like, Three Colors Blue. Oh, that's a great one. And then I settled on Moon.
that's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Talk about you can't get any more isolated than being off the planet for 3 years, or
Oh
what he
my
thinks
God.
is 3 years. It is amazing. If you haven't seen Moon, amazing low budget, directed by Duncan Jones.
Yes.
Duncan Jones. Scored by Clint Mansell, by the way. Dopeness, all around dopeness. Sam Rockwell in a one-man tour de force.
Yes.
And
Yes.
also one of the one of the best science fiction movies that's out there, man. That shit was made for about $13, and it looks amazing. And it's just a dude on the moon mining the moon in the future for what's the word I'm looking for? Resources that they send back to Earth to use for energy. There we go.
Unobtainium.
Mining for some unobtainium. If only they knew. If only they didn't have to go planets and planets away and send the Marines with them. Brian, what do you have for isolation?
Well, I have one that's more like virus quarantine-y, but did you guys ever see that movie Buried with Ryan Reynolds?
No.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And it's another, because you just made me think of it with the moon being like basically just a Sam Rockwell show. The entirety of Buried takes place in a casket, buried underground with Ryan Reynolds.
Like,
he's been buried alive.
9-10 years ago, didn't it?
Yeah, this is about 10 years old.
It's like that scene in Kill Bill Volume 2, just like
He just punches
For an
his
hour
way.
and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Claustrophobic.
it's unbelievable. Like it works so well. But the movie I'm going with is 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Oh, that's a
yes.
good one.
The best of the Cloverfields.
Easily.
I don't like the fact that Cloverfield became a connected franchise with that third one that wasn't good.
The one that dropped right after the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
the
that
Pet
was
Paradox,
not good.
It was
But
it felt like a science fiction movie that they just slapped the Cloverfield branding on.
that's what it was. And then they were like, hey, let's just connect it to the other ones.
Yeah.
But 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I like the first Cloverfield movie just fine, but 10 Cloverfield Lane, totally different animal, and John Goodman is awesome in it. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is in it, and they're just in a bunker underground, and there's just this, is what John Goodman's selling real, or is it not? And the whole movie, you're wondering, is he just holding her down here, or is there literally a threat above ground? And the ending is bonkers.
Oh, yes.
That's the only Cloverfield film I've seen. The first one, too much shaky cam. Couldn't do it.
Sure.
And then the third one, I was gonna watch it, and I heard everybody say how bad it was.
Stay away.
But, man, John Goodman in a dramatic role is just phenomenal.
His performance in that was just unsettling.
John
Like,
Goodman as a
Cyclops,
bunker
man.
boy, man, he was yikes.
Not the bubble boy, the bunker boy. All right. Scott's prettier half, Shannon Drury, said, choosing my own adventure, as she starts out all of her messages with. I'm a diehard horror movie fan for this Halloween. Talk to me about a zombie scary thriller movie that you love. What skills you have that would help you survive in that universe. Alternatively, talk to me about why you'd be the first to die because you're out of shape like Shannon, can't run like Shannon, and would sass off to the bad guy and he'd kill you like Shannon. I'll go ahead and start this bad boy off. I'm first to die. Jamon's also the first to die because we're black.
Yes, that's right off the jump.
That's off the jump. We might get past the opening credits, and then it's about 10 more minutes for us. We're 2 days on set. You guys are working your asses off. We're back at the craft services table.
Yes.
Enjoying ourselves.
Just getting clapped up immediately.
Clapped up immediately. We're cameos. Yeah. So the second generation to choose their own convention. You'd be like, oh, Jamon Jackson in that one
I remember
movie.
that guy. He was one of those clowns.
Yeah, I'm definitely the guy that like figures it out and then gets killed before he can tell everybody else. That's the role I fill.
Are you the I'll meet you tomorrow? No, you won't.
That's the me. Yeah, that's the one.
Just as long as you're not the let's split up guy.
Don't be the let's split up guy. That's not the guy. Yeah, I don't have. I really seriously thought about this, and I can't think of a single skill that I have that could help me survive this thing. I'm out of shape these days. I'm not good with building things with my hands. I can make you like a cardboard box, maybe. Yeah.
It worked for Solid Snake?
If it worked for Solid Snake, it can work for us. I couldn't think of a single thing. I'll whip up some food for you guys. After you come back from your adventure, you'll come back to a nice hot meal. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
I got this chicken I've been baking for the last hour. The juices are just right. But also that's Jamon's actual job, so I don't want to take his. I don't know how much
that's going to help me either. I don't know if Jason like eats or anything or anything.
Well, maybe that's the problem. He's
hungry.
been stuck.
He's hungry.
He is hangry.
He's hangry. Yes.
He's
He's
been
hangry. hungry.
burning, but he's also burning calories, killing
Yeah.
people. So it's exponentially.
Maybe that's why he has the machete, man. He's just like deboning chickens. And stuff. He just wanted to help, man. He just wanted to help.
You guys are chefs. I only allow chefs. I can't cross the leg. Yeah, I got nothing for this. Brian, what about you?
So, I think it's easy to look from the outside looking into a lot of horror movie scenarios and think, well, move out of the house. Like Amityville, move out of the house. Shit starts happening, get out of there. I'm like, maybe you don't think about how difficult and time-consuming it is
Selling a house.
to fucking move.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
my threshold is extraordinarily high for wanting to get out of a house. My kid talks about seeing ghosts all the time, and I'm not moving right now. It's like, I don't give a shit. You see ghosts, you levitate above the bed. You're like, you ass, get back down there.
So here's what I did when I was
dust
little
the ceilings
and
if
thought
you're gonna
there
be
were
up there.
like ghosts or bad things. Tell him to hide in between the comforter and the flat sheet. And then when they
they're gonna
pull
look
back
under
the
the-
covers, they won't find him.
No, no child here.
That's,
What race is your?
that's how I
think
feel.
he's a Romanian
It's like
ghost.
Eastern European, like Eastern European book.
Very,
It's the
very-
Baba Yaga. It's the
Very Cold War era ghost. You have there, sir.
But so that would not be a skill set I would have to be able to survive in a universe like that, because obviously I'm not moving. But I do have a skill set that would allow me to have survived the 2005 film The Descent, which involved a group of spelunkers going into a cave system and meeting a bunch of inbred over many centuries cave people.
Yep.
Essentially, they were not pleasant. Well, two things enable me to survive the descent. One, I'm not a woman. Every single character who went into the cave was female. Two, I have a natural aversion to going the fuck into caves.
Oh, look, I can't make it through that hole in the ground. Sorry, guys.
Yep.
No, I'm
I'll
out.
wait
I'm
up
out.
here.
Sorry.
You're batting 1,000 there, sir.
credits.
No, I don't think I will. Credits.
But runner-up, shout out to the Blair Witch Project. And I used to work with a guy whose solution to the Blair Witch Project was, dude, burn the woods.
All the wood.
Oh, the old.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Was it Alfred Pennyworth?
Yeah, I was literally going to say, the old Michael Caine. Like, we burned the forest
burnt
down.
The forest down.
I was like, he just like breezed by it like it was casual. Like, you burned down a forest to like flush
catch
out a
one
jewel
guy?
thief.
Oh, what you got there, Leslie?
Well, I'm not surviving. That's what I have.
You could be the final girl, man. You could make it.
I'm not the final girl.
Wow,
I'm
okay.
like the final girl's best friend who's trying to convince her that things aren't that bad. She shouldn't go to that party. And I'm the one that gets killed by the killer, like, when he's looking for her.
Are you like the Barb of the
Yeah.
group?
Yeah,
I might be the Barb.
You're Barb.
I
You're
might be the Barb.
Sucked
Yes,
into the pool.
I am the Barb because I'd be the smart one going like, you said you don't want to fuck this guy. Let's go. you told me you don't want to fuck this guy. I'm here because you don't want to fuck this guy.
Out here blocking.
Being a good wing woman.
All right, I can get down with that.
But yeah, slasher movies. I'm not gonna make it. I can't run. I can't run for long enough to outrun a crazed killer.
No.
That's not happening. I could maybe hide for a little bit. But yeah, and even if you put me in like a Saw type of movie, I feel like if I could get calm, I could figure out the puzzles, but I couldn't go through with
Nope.
them.
Nope, I'm not sawing off my.
dead as
my
a hammer and
whole-
saw.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I'd be like, okay, do we have a gun? Can we just kill me now? I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, stick my hand into acid or whatever to get the key to.
Oh, God.
I wonder how long you would have to sit in there like chained up, to where you starve and like lose enough weight to slip your ankle through the
No, you're dead
through the
before that.
shackle.
You're
Like
dead
you're gonna
before
die before that.
Anyway, Daryl, you can make it out. All you gotta do is just flick your own balls once. Nope, not doing it. No, sorry.
I had a good run.
Hey, killer, do me a favor and tell my kids I love them because it ain't happening. Jamon, what about you, sir? We gotta keep this. We gotta
yeah.
pick it up.
I think because I've had a similar question to this before, and I think the only movie I would even have a chance in is Nightmare on Elm Street, just due to my insomnia. Freddy would literally be flicking through like nightmare scenarios and stuff, waiting for me, and I just never show up. Like the only shot he would even have at me is if I end up eating a lot of food at some point and going into a food coma and catch me slipping. That's it.
Freddy caught him slipping.
Got him.
Finally, he put his glove on real quick.
Even then, I'm still like, hold on, I'm not done yet.
Right on.
You take his glove and just shove forks on it. Better.
Yeah. Oh, these nachos can't eat themselves. All right. Young Brad Ledbetter of formerly Thirsty Nomad fame and the host of the ill-fated Daryl Con yesterday. At the time of this recording.
The pictures are hilarious.
Yes, there is about a 2-foot cardboard cutout of yours truly.
That's what we should do. We should have
Daryl
just
Con.
post pictures of a con that never actually happened.
Oh, you guys didn't know? Pop Ring Con happened. Brad says, these are the end times. What a way to start this off. Civil War is undoubtedly coming to the USA, and like most sequels, it'll be worse than the original. Soon, a fleet of Tesla self-driving cars will attain self-awareness and begin the war to remove all humans from the roadways. Mark Zuckerberg's race of lizard people are planning their uprising, bent on dominating all social media with Russian propaganda, funny videos, and dank memes. And Dune has been pushed back to autumn 2021.
Oh, man, he just dug it
Priorities.
in there. He just dug it in there.
Dark times indeed.
Dunk has been dunked.
Yes. In that spirit, what apocalypse disaster movie would you survive and how? We just talked about that, right?
Well, we did horror,
Exactly,
I guess. Now,
yeah.
we're just
Yeah.
changing genres,
Just
basically.
changing genres. Okay.
I was going to say, I definitely split them into two questions and did the
Yeah.
won't survive for Shannon and will survive for Brad.
All right. I think that boom makes sense. I went with the volcano. That apocalypse joint, because I'm going to survive the volcano by leaving the blast radius of the volcano.
Smart.
The end.
Smart.
The end. You know what? Yeah, moving sucks, but I'm just going to pack a couple things and
like,
zip out of
gotta
town
go.
for a
Gotta
while.
go.
Gotta go. And if I come back to my shit is full of ash and lava and magma, I'll just restart.
Just don't live anywhere
Yeah,
with a
just-
potential active volcano. Like,
I was a friend of mine was playing the game of Civilization a couple of days ago, and he said he started the game. They put him right by a volcano. Turn 2, the volcano exploded, and he died.
Of course.
That's it. He was done and done.
of course.
Yeah, you hate to see it. Brian, what you got for this?
I'm not sure I'm going to survive this apocalypse that we're in right now, but mine is probably The Happening, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, because I just wouldn't go outside. It worked for that old lady for a while. That would be the way I would survive. Just don't go the fuck outside. And this is why that movie, it seemed stupid at the time, but now we see in a real life sort of setting what this would be like. Because sure, The Happening would start and maybe 80% of the people would say, okay, we could stay indoors. About 3 days in, everybody's going to start bitching about their personal freedoms.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they'll be out there just jumping off buildings and getting run over by lawnmowers.
Sometimes you just got to call the herd, Brian.
But I'd call a mulligan on Infinity War and Endgame because I'd survive that by getting snapped back into existence.
All right. Makes sense. Makes sense. Leslie.
I went with zombie apocalypse. Specifically, either the Romero zombie films or The Walking Dead, where it's slow
You
zombies.
talking about not outrunning things. They think you could outrun those.
What?
You talking about not being able to outrun things. I think those are the one things.
Those are the ones I could outrun.
Yeah.
Or I could at least outmaneuver. I may not always be the quietest person around, but I can sneak when I need to. And,
Suspect.
they're slow enough that I could use a bludgeoning object to get rid of them and hide. And I'd probably puke a few times, but I would definitely utilize the whole smearing zombie bits on yourself
The mask.
yes.
Just get a big like stick with a glove at the end of it that's like held up like stop, and just like push them back a little bit. Just keep that stick with you at all times.
Had a
No,
little-
no. You stay over there.
I had a little spray bottle with the cat. Get back.
Zombie's like, hey.
But yeah, I think I could at least survive the zombies. I don't know about the roaming gangs of horrible people.
Nah.
But I could survive the zombies.
You say outmaneuvering, and all I could think of is you like juking zombies and stiff arming.
That's what I was thinking. Like,
Like Barry Sanders or
I'm
something.
just saying, I was the best defense like all 4 years of high school playing basketball.
There you
so,
go.
you know.
Leslie E., the Barry Sanders of the zombie game.
Hey, I think
Gail Sayers is out there working it out. Rest in peace to Gail Sayers, who died last
man.
month. I know.
there's a bonus pick for you too, and that's Why the Last Man.
Oh yeah,
You survived
absolutely.
that apocalypse.
Just like
I'm a
the fault.
woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, do I really want to survive?
That damn chromosome gets us clapped up, fellas. Unless we
So
have a
which
pet
of you
monkey.
is why?
Probably Brown.
Who has a monkey named Ampersand? I need to meet it.
He was a good monkey.
Good monkey. Jamon, what about you, sir?
I think I would actually survive Independence Day, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yes. Number one, when somebody smart like Jeff Goldblum tells you something is about to happen, listen to the smart people.
Listen to the
Listen
smart
to the
people.
scientists. He
Yeah.
went to the White. This actually parallels real life. He went to the White House to warn them, and they played him like he was a joke.
Yep.
And look what the hell happened.
Alien.
Listen to the smart people, please, people.
Jamon, now you're pleading.
Yes.
That's all 10
Second
listeners.
off, I wouldn't be like that one stripper that Vivica A. Fox told not to go to the.
You're not going to the top of the building?
Yeah. Number two, respect the sex workers.
Yes.
They know when bad shit is going down. Stay the hell away from it. And she ended up saving the first lady for a brief
She
moment.
did.
Yes.
She
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
You know
So,
what,
yes.
sir? Yeah, just listen to the people
Yeah,
who know
listen
more
to
than
those
you.
people. I would get down in the bunker when they told me to and stay the fuck there. Like,
Boom.
Right.
Done and done.
let them handle that shit.
All right, let's keep this bad boy on and rolling. Duquan Grady Swint, a.k.a. C2.0, a.k.a. C2020. He said, what horror movie trope scares or creeps you out the most? Leslie, what trope creeps you out the most?
So this is where I'm a bit contradictory of myself. So I really enjoyed the Saw franchise, right? But it's like medical / body horror that creeps me out the fucking most. But so the thing with Saw is that it's so over the top and ridiculous, right? So I cringe, but it's not too bad. But then you have something like The Human Centipede, which I will never fucking watch, ever.
Ass to ass, ass to ass.
Mouth to ass.
Wow.
And then, like, Cabin Fever. Cabin Fever, there's a virulent whatever going through in the water and blah, blah, blah. I watched that, super creeped out. I remember liking it, but I have not watched it again in, like, over a decade. Yeah. So, yeah, it just... The more realistic and or gross, it is for me.
All right.
Doctors like amputating and putting other bits on. No, thank you.
That's why Marathon Man creeps me out.
Makes sense. What about you there, Mr. Jackson?
Well, obviously, this is a genre I generally don't fuck with. And I had to think about that. What about the horror genre really fucks with me? And, well, it's mainly two things. It's like mostly like the stuff with the paranormal, like your paranormal activities and stuff like that. The ghosts haunting a house and shit like that fucks with me. But the main thing that really fucks me up, jump scares.
Yeah.
I cannot deal with these jump scares, man. It's just a feeling I don't want to feel watching a movie.
See, I love jump scares.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, jump scares is right there. It's jump scares. That and the and your Freddy's and your Jasons and your Mike Myers. Like those creep me out because there's no winning. You can't win.
They're
against those.
unstoppable.
They're unstoppable.
That's why I find them so fun.
Like even when they do defeat them, like 9 times out of 10, they end up coming right
Oh, yeah.
back.
And
Right
back
back.
for the
Oh, yeah.
sequel.
Not even the sequel. Sometimes they even pop up at the end of the movie.
Yeah, the last final
Yeah.
scare there. Yeah, no, I can't. Nah, I can't. I hate those things. Also, jump scares. Brian, what about you?
This was the easiest question I had to answer this month, I think. For me, it's children that are in a context that is inappropriate. And by that, I mean like movies like The Exorcist or Insidious or The Ring, where we're
Poltergeist?
seeing
Creepy children,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Creepy children are no good, especially when there are children present where there ought not be children present. Say, again, I mentioned the Blair Witch Project a few minutes ago. There's one night in the Blair Witch Project where you can hear children's laughter out in the woods. Oh, that is not okay. That shit is like, now, I don't know what's out there, but I sure as fuck know there's no kids out there right now. What the fuck is that? You know?
Okay.
In movies, I think I like kids are inherently terrifying, and I'm glad that the movies get it. That's
Where
that's
do
it.
they find these creepy ass kids?
There's a scene, and I think it's in the first Insidious movie, which is okay, but there's a character walking through a house kind of on the phone or something, and your focus is completely on her as she walks through the house, and the camera's following her, and for a split second out of the corner of the screen, you see a kid standing in the corner, and nothing is said about it. Nothing. It's there, and then it's gone, and you're like, holy shit, what was that? And it is several minutes before that kid becomes a thing. But you're just like, if you caught it, you're like, what the fuck was that? So kids where there ought not be kids, or in situations where kids not ought be.
All right, that makes sense. And to wrap this bad boy up, we have Melissa, 1S. Boris says, here you go. You can pick one piece of film scoring as your intro music. Everywhere you go, this piece of music will announce you when you arrive. What's your jam? It can't be a song. It has to be an instrumental. Brian, what do you got for this?
I just want to preface this by saying that the Imperial March is the national anthem of my Animal Crossing island. It actually plays every hour when the clock strikes 12.
I thought about that, and I was like, I don't know. I think fascism is in right now.
It's not. No. My answer for me though is also by John Williams, and that is the main titles from Superman the movie.
Oh,
Which I think is my favorite piece of John Williams music as far as his like theme songs go.
It's
just
up- it's
every
definitely,
single
yeah.
time. I'm like, that just nails it every level.
I think that might be number 2 or 3 when you even think of John Williams
Yeah.
compositions.
Right on. Oh, what you got there, Jamal?
I went with End of Line by Daft Punk from Tron Legacy.
I thought about a Tron Legacy one. for a
Yeah,
second.
it's that theme that plays when they go into the club with like, man, everything is fucking cool as hell.
Yeah,
Daft Punk is actually
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, every time I hear that, I picture me walking in slow motion and stuff. And just like, man,
Right
that
on. Walking to the grocery store with that bad boy playing.
Got my whole light up suit on and everything. It's like everybody else is looking. It's like, why the hell is he walking so slow? It looks ridiculous,
Sir, this is a Harris Teeter.
Where's this music coming from?
I got my little disc throwing it around and stuff. It's like, arrest that man. It's like,
Leslie.
I went with the Princess Leia theme song. Younger me would have gone with the Cantina song because it's happy and peppy and ridiculous.
She just finger guns at everybody.
But I went with Leia's theme because I feel like it fits more who I am now. A little more,
Okay.
a little more somber.
Good.
All right.
Really good piece of music.
Well, I picked the Imperial March, goddamn.
somebody was going for the fascism.
You motherfuckers are gonna know when I walk into a place. It's gonna be blasting over every loudspeaker.
It's just like so many people when I go to the comic shop who have that as their ringtone for their wives or significant others. I was like,
It was my parents for the longest.
is it really?
See, I had it set as work.
That makes
Time work
sense.
called me. Like, I don't want to answer that one.
And then that wraps it up. That about does it for the October edition of Choose Our Own Adventure. We just have 2 more of these bad boys left to do.
Oh man.
Bring us your great questions.
Bring us,
please.
yeah. This is
All
for,
the questions
for you patrons only, man. For you $10 and up, this is your last chance before we really open it up to the Poprican. So
Do
you
it.
gotta
Do it.
You gotta come correct with your questions.
Strike us down with all your hate.
Boy, that seems like a good place to end this episode. You guys take it easy, and we will see you next month.
Am I the only one who saw the dude taking pictures of us out the window?